All right, folks, welcome back. Week number, what is it? Number 2. Hope you had a good week number 1. And are there any administrative announcements, or I'll take it as none. Are there any questions from any of you guys based on anything we covered last week? So if you joined for the first time, what we try to do is answer any questions before we get into each day's topic, just to make sure everyone has an opportunity to ask questions about anything they do not understand or anything they're curious about. Okay, I'll ask a few questions then. So folks, by now you should have access to the Black Force Marketing Cloud account. Can you please confirm that you do? That you all do have access? Or I'll rephrase the question. If you don't have access, please specify. Okay, so I see a bunch of responses in there. So seems like it's a mixed bag. Some people do, some people do not. So Black Force folks, can you please provide access to those whose names have shown up as they do not have access? Now I'm speaking to Neka or what's the other person's name? Kaisa. Whichever one of you is on the line now, please make sure every student who signed up for this class has access to the Salesforce Marketing Cloud account, and they are given the SFMC student role inside of Marketing Cloud. That's the access level they need for now. It pretty much gives them access to everything they need to be able to learn about. So folks, please follow up with the Black Force folks, the class managers, I think that's what they're called. They will be the ones to give you access. All right. And I like to differentiate just so everyone's clear. I am an independent instructor. I am not a Black Force employee or an alumni. So when I say the Black Force folks, I'm referring to the Black Force folks. All right? Yeah, thank you, Robert. So yeah, you should get access through these folks, Rafiat, Neka, or Kaisa. All right, so in the absence of any other questions, we will get into today's content. So subsequently, when you do get access, please make sure you're going into the account and you're putting into practice everything we're talking about, because that's where the learning is going to happen. The learning is not going to happen by you just showing up and listening to me ramble for 2 hours, all right? That's good. It's good to show up and listen and ask questions, but it's more important to go into the account and play around, okay? All right, without further ado, let's get into today's content. Please let me know once you see my screen. Zoom says you can, so I'll take it that you truly can. Okay, so we're going to talk about Cloud Pages today. So, Cloud Pages, this is a functionality or a module inside of Marketing Cloud. Excuse me, that allows you to build web pages, landing pages, microsites, and that sort of thing. So Marketing Cloud is a platform, right? it's like, think of it like your phone. On your phone, whether you use an Apple or an Android or one of the other kind of phones out there, your phone is a platform. And on your phone, there are several applications. There's the phone app, there's the contacts or the phone book, there's the text message application, there's your Google Maps application, there's your WhatsApp, there's all these other apps that you use for different things. Same thing here. Marketing Cloud is a platform with multiple applications. One of them that we spent a lot of time on last week was Email Studio. All right? That was just one application on the platform that covers sending emails, managing data, splicing and dicing data. That's what Email Studio does. The application we're going to talk about today is under the Web Studio section. That's Cloud Pages. Okay, so this is where you can build web pages and landing pages and mini websites on the platform. All right, so that's what I mean by a platform. It's a platform that has multiple applications to solve different problems that a marketing team or a marketing organization might be interested in solving. So instead of them paying for different solutions, so instead of paying for an application that can help you build websites and then a separate application that can help you send emails, and then they have it all in this platform. They pay one big fat fee and they can do multiple things inside of this platform. So let's get into Cloud Pages. So here's what we'll talk about today. So we'll talk about Cloud Pages, the different communication channels that you can use the content you create in Cloud Pages for, and then walking through the application itself. So with Cloud Pages, you can build all sorts of web pages or landing pages or micro websites, right? I put some screenshots here just to show you the kind of things you can do. And Cloud Pages run on, typically, they run on HTML. Okay, so I'll demonstrate this to you, but you can also use a bit of CSS. And then in addition, there's this programming language that's specific to Marketing Cloud that's called AmpScript. So you can use AmpScript inside of Cloud Pages, and you can also use AmpScript inside of Content Builder. So when you're building an email and you want to do some personalization, you can use AmpScript to pull data in. So the same way you use AmpScript in Content Builder for all sorts of things, you can use it in Cloud Pages to pull data in from data extensions or to push data into a data extension. Okay. And so some use cases that you tend to see companies that use Cloud Pages will be, a simple example could be, let's say, RBC. RBC has an advert on Facebook or Instagram, or you know what, let's switch brands. Let's go Lululemon, all right? They make fancy, expensive yoga pants. Lululemon is running an ad on Instagram. They've used some influencer to promote their new version of their yoga pants. And then you guys go on Instagram, you see this yoga pants and you say, yes, I'm going to look really good in those pair of yoga pants. You click on the ad takes you to a web page or some web form And upon arriving on this web page or web form, there's a prompt saying, hey, provide your details and you get 20% off this pair of yoga pants today. And of course, you're going to buy the pants anyway. So you provide your data, your name, your email, your last name. You click on submit. That form that's used to capture your information. So once you click on submit or you click on sign up, your data can get pushed into a data extension, and then you can get sent an email saying, hey, here's your 20% discount. Go ahead and use it for your purchase. So that whole process can be, or a large chunk of those steps can be executed using Marketing Cloud. So you can display an advert on Facebook via Marketing Cloud. So there's the advertising studio. We're not going to, it's not being implemented in this account, so I can't show you much, but I'll tell you about the use case just like I've just done now. So you display an ad using Advertising Studio. You display on Facebook or Instagram, and then people show up on a website. That website you can create using Web Studio. Okay. People fill out the form on that website. They click on submit. Their data gets captured in a data extension. And the data extensions typically sit in Email Studio. So now you start to see the interconnection between all of these modules or applications inside the platform. All right. I'll build on this use case in the future, but a follow-up action could be you make a purchase after you get the coupon email, you make your purchase, and then you get sent a purchase confirmation or a shipping notification automatically. That can be done using Automation Studio, right? Or you get sent into a customer satisfaction journey where after 2 weeks or 2 weeks after your purchase, you get sent an email saying, hey, what did you think of this yoga pants? Do you like them? Do you not? Would you leave a review on our website? And then you get sent another email, say 2 months from then. Stuff like that is doable using Journey Builder. But we're not going to talk about Journey Builder today. We're not going to talk about Automation Studio. Our focus is on Cloud Pages. That just gives you a flavor of the kinds of things you can do with the different applications inside of Marketing Cloud. All right. So you could build web pages for lead generation activities. You could build forms to capture data, and you can collect that data into Marketing Cloud, or you can push that data from Marketing Cloud into Sales Cloud or Service Cloud, your CRM. So there are options when it comes to where you want the data to get pushed into. If you want it to sit in Marketing Cloud, if you want it to get pushed directly into Sales Cloud, right? So let's go take a look at Cloud Pages. So just for the sake of anyone who missed it. So once you log into your Marketing Cloud account and you're on the home page, to get to Cloud Pages, you need to hover under the Web Studio section and click on Cloud Pages. All right. Let's see, is that a question? This is a question for me. Did I ask about is this the org access? Yeah, well, if it's NECA or Kaisa, I was asking about the students having access to the Marketing Cloud account. So
yeah, they should have access right now. Everybody's access has been created and updated.
Okay, so a few people put in the chat that they do not have access. So please reach out to those folks. Just take a look in the chat, and anyone who says they don't, please connect with them. Let's just make sure they do. Okay, so back to Cloud Pages. Once you get here on the Cloud Pages homepage, you'll see these folders or these sections here on the left. These are just, think of them like folders, all right? And a collection, think of it like a folder, because as you see here, by default, you're on the collection section, all right? So a collection is a folder which contains multiple things. So it could contain landing pages, it could contain a microsite. But let's go ahead and create a collection. Let's call it so just for simplicity, a collection it's a folder. All right, so we'll call this the September 25th, 2023 collection. Okay, all right, so you see there, a collection is a folder. So once you're inside your collection, you can add several things. So let's say I wanted to create a landing page. Now I can create one inside of my September 25th folder. Right? So let's go ahead and call this my September 25th landing page. Okay? And then you could put a description if you want. And go next. So let me just select that. So now let me just explain this quickly. So you see here, we've got this URL or subdomain called cloud.theblackforce.ca. All right. Let me explain the relationship here. So I'll duplicate this tab and I'll go back to setup. So you'll recall that in the account settings, the subdomain that we're using is this one, theblackforce.ca. So everything we're building inside of this account will be using this subdomain. So when we create a sender profile, so that's the from name and the from email address, it's going to be based on this subdomain. All right, so the test emails that we sent out to you guys last week was based on this subdomain. So let me just, for those who don't recall, so see here, that's the subdomain we're using for our sender profiles. So for our cloud pages, we'll be using the same subdomain. Only difference is this will be www.something, in this case, www.cloud.theblackforce.ca. And there might be some other characters behind the blackforce.ca, but that's going to be the URL or the prefix for any URL for any landing page or microsite that we create in this account. All right, so let's just take a blank template. Okay, so this is not the URL I want. Let me go back a step. You know what? I'm going to delete that and redo it. Keep that name. Let's copy that, get rid of it. Yeah, so let's do that again. Okay, so let's create a landing page. We'll call it the same name. And let's select that. Let's say 1, 2. Okay, that's more like it. All right, so this is what I expect to see. So see here, the URL is going to be cloud.theblackforce.ca, and then you could put whatever you want as your page name. In this case, I just used 12. We can change it to something else. So if I wanted to change that name to something else, I'll go back to my landing page. I'll click on the settings and I'll come here and change the site. Let's call it the sample landing page for today. Just something simple. Let's see if it likes that. So you see that? I'll go back into it and see here, my URL name is updated. So I can put whatever I want after the .ca for my page name. But as you see here, the prefix for my URL is based on that subdomain, the blackforce.ca. All right. So that's part of the benefit of having your sender authenticated domain, right? So you can, whatever you set up here, when you're creating the new account, you can have more than one, by the way. So, but this is just one in this account. So for example, let's say this was the RBC account. RBC exists in Canada and they exist in US, right? In Canada, it's rbc.ca. In let's just say it was rbc.ca, and in the US, it's rbc.com. We can have two subdomains. There'll be rbc.ca and rbc.com, and we can use either one for our landing pages. We can use either one for our sender names or sender profiles. It just depends on the organization. So you're not limited to just one subdomain, all right? Folks, does that make sense? Okay, I see questions coming up. So this is, okay, this is more administrative for you guys. And so folks, just so you're using your time most efficiently, you can connect with the Blackforce folks regarding your Marketing Cloud access later on today. You can do this after class, all right? I don't want you to miss out on, I know you can always go back and watch this video, but it's imperative that you follow along and ask questions as we go through this. Don't get distracted with your absence of access to the account. You will be given access to the account. All right. So I see a hand come up. Ijoma, please go ahead.
Okay, I just noticed that when you were creating the landing page, the error you got from the domain URL was because you picked the other drop pick list.
Yes.
So
go ahead with your question, but I think I know where you're going, but please finish.
Yes, I just wanted to know if you wanted to touch on the other one.
Okay, let's do that. So I created this first landing page and the URL in here is based on my subdomain. Yes. I can also let's create another landing page. Let's call it the landing page number 2. All right. And in this case, I'm not going to select cloud.theblackforce.ca. I'm just going to select this one, which is the default. It's going to be the default URL, which will give you a random string of characters. Okay. So when I finish creating this, you'll see the difference between this one with the random string of characters versus the other one. So you see here, this is the outcome. If you don't pay Salesforce, the company, for this product or this feature, which is part of the SAP collection of products, if you don't pay for this, what you get by default is stuff like this. Now think about most brands that you know. Everything they do, they try to keep in line with their brand. So for example, if RBC owns this account and they didn't pay for this feature, whenever they create any landing page using Marketing Cloud or Cloud Pages, the URL for that landing page will be this. Now, how memorable is this? Can anyone memorize this and go to this website or this landing page? Yeah, I'm sure one of you or a few of you can, but it's not very memorable. It's not very in line with the RBC brand or any brand. So Salesforce nudges you towards purchasing this feature so that you can customize your URLs, your sender profile to be in line with your brand. All right, so that's why I went with creating this one, or not this one, the second one, the one with the cloud.theblackforce.ca. This one it's easier to remember, it's easier to use, it's more in line with the brand. It makes more sense. But if you don't use the brand name or the brand subdomain, you can choose to use the one that comes by default and gives you this URL. Okay, they both work, all right? There's no doubt that this one will work. It's just this URL is not very memorable. Does that make sense?
Makes sense. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. So keep the questions coming, folks. So let's go back to, how can I tell which is which? So if you hover your mouse on it, this shows me the name. If I hover my mouse here, this shows me the other name. So I can tell one is -2, one is not. So we'll keep building on this one. So let's keep building on this one. So here's this is the skeleton for my landing page. This is just a framework. I've not put anything in there. But you see here, you have these options here on the left. So starting with the blocks. In Marketing Cloud, you can build your content using these content blocks. So you could build a web page and this also applies in emails. You can use content blocks. So if I wanted to just put just HTML on my web page, I can grab my HTML, paste it in here, and I'll get a preview of my web page. So let's go ahead with that example. Let's say this here is a website that just has some sample HTML content, just so I don't have to write it from scratch. So let's see. Let's grab this line of HTML code. Okay, I'll paste it in here, and there you have it. HTML displaying on this cloud page. All right. So for the sake of simplicity, let's save it. And if I wanted to add an image, I can just grab this image block. It's not letting me well done. I can put my image block right there, or I can move it beneath, and I can import an image in here. So let's go find an image. Let's go yoga pants. How about that? Maybe, no, for men. You know what? Never mind. Let's keep it simple. Puppies. Everybody loves puppies. About that. Images. Let's go with this guy. This is quite the dog in it. Let's save this image on my desktop. Yes. So if I wanted to insert an image onto my web page, I simply put a image block, and now I can browse. Oh, actually, I've not uploaded the image. So you have to upload your image first, and then you'll be able to select it. So who recalls how to upload images into Marketing Cloud? Can anyone who's confident enough give us directions on how to upload an image into Marketing Cloud? Let's do it quickly. Any volunteers? And you'll have to come off mute. Nobody? All right. Okay, I'll show it to you guys one more time. So to upload an image from wherever into Marketing Cloud, so here's the image I just downloaded from Google. We'll go to Content Builder. All right. And once we're in Content Builder, we can select our folder, and then we can either drag and drop the image anywhere in the middle of the screen, or we could come here and go to Upload, Content, and then you select your image. And that's the image right there. And we double click on it, we click on Upload, and in goes our image. All right? We uploaded this one last week. We uploaded this one right now. So now I am able to use these images in my cloud page. So if I come here, I can see the images. So let's select that one. So there you have it. Our web page or our landing page is coming together. All right, so you see all these blocks here. You can use them in different sections of your landing page. So if I wanted to add more text, I could just grab this, put it there, put my text, say this is an example of text landing page, right? And I can, so you get the gist here. It's just giving you the ability to break a web page into different sections and have different kinds of content in those sections. And you can move these content blocks around. So if I wanted to move the text up, I'll just, let's say I wanted to move that up. Yeah. And I wanted to move the dog image down. See, I moved my heading up, I moved the dog image to the middle, and my text is now at the bottom. I think you guys get the gist. All right. Any questions on any of what you've seen so far? Let's see. Okay, so is the image I added mobile friendly, or do I need to tweak it for that? Well, you saw me go through this process now. I wasn't looking to see if it's mobile friendly, but let's check. See, here in the top right corner, by default, you're seeing the desktop view. So let's see, if we switch to the mobile view, this is what it looks like. So it's not too bad, yes? But of course, I won't say rely entirely on just these two views. You have to do a bit more testing. And if you remember those tools that I mentioned, those tools might be able to help you with testing of landing pages and web pages also, all right? But by default, you can get a quick preview of your desktop and your mobile view here inside of Cloud Pages. Yes, Uduak Obong, please go ahead.
Hi, sorry, this may sound a bit dumb, but I don't know. So you dragged in HTML and it said blue heading, and then you brought in text and you could type. So I'm wondering, what is HTML again? Is it like a coding? What exactly is HTML?
Oh, so HTML is a programming language that's predominantly used for the creation of emails and also the creation of web pages. All right. So if we go back to our desktop view, let's grab another HTML block. And now let's put that one beneath the puppy. Let's say we put it here. So see here, there's nothing in there. So we have to put HTML in there. So I believe at some point, well, it depends on the program you signed up for with Blackforce, but I think they also offer some HTML training. So HTML, here's what it looks like. You can put your sample text in here, and then you can use HTML commands like I'm doing now to determine how you want it to display. Anyways, this is a very quick summary of what HTML looks like. It's a programming language used for landing pages, also used to create emails. So instead of me giving you a 5-minute class on HTML, I chose to use existing HTML content. So like this here, this is all HTML, all right? And this is the code, and this is the outcome of the code, all right? So this class is not really an HTML class, so I won't be going in depth on it, but this is the gist of it. HTML is used to create web pages. It's also used to create emails, all right? And if you're not familiar with it, you can save this URL. There's lots of sample HTML there. Let's send that to everyone. So it's a good website to reference. All right, Udrak, hopefully that helps. So if we go back to our web page, we've added some different pieces of content in here. So we added this HTML heading, we added the image, we used content blocks. So we used the HTML block, we used the image block. And here we use text block. So let's say this was the extent of what we wanted to put on our landing page, and we want to publish it. We want to make it publicly available. So we click on save. We're happy with what we see. If you take this URL here and we say, let's see what our web page looks like, we get an error message. Can anyone tell why we're getting this error message? You can put your guesses in the chat, or you could put it, you can speak up. Okay, it's not published. Anyone else? Did someone speak?
Yeah, I said the same thing, not published.
Published, that's correct. Okay, thank you both. So when you create your content, you save it and then you publish, because as these two students have pointed out, if you don't publish, then yes, you're going to get an error message. So when we schedule and publish it, now you could choose to schedule it for later, or you could publish immediately. By default, the publish immediately is selected. But now when we publish and we get this green checkbox, our URL should work. So if we reload this, see now, same URL, and now it's working. All right, so that's how to create a landing page, save it, publish it, and test it. So now, if I send this URL to you guys, it should work for you. You should be able to view it. Now, where's the chat? So folks, please click on it and confirm. You know what, rather than confirm you're able to click it, if you were unable to get it to load, or you got an error message, please put it in the chat. All right. So you should be able to see this URL work the way it's working on my screen right now. Okay. Now, back to Robert's question regarding the image being rendering properly for mobile or for desktop. As you can see here, some of this text is straying towards the edge of the screen. So our HTML still needs some formatting. All right. This is not best practice. Having stuff so close to the edge, it's not best practice. So you still need to go fine tune all of this text and HTML that you've created. But at the minimum, you've got your web page to work. Okay? So that's how these things work. Okay? Now, you can use this URL in the body of an email. So if you create an email, so let's start to bring these things together for you. So here is the email we created last week, right? Let's go add this URL into the body of our email. So I'm going to come here and I'll put, you know what, where is this? I'm going to use this. Now, this is HTML right here. I'm going to use bits of it for my purpose. So I'm going to take this bit away and insert this URL. Let's put that right there, but I'll change the name of that URL. We'll call it click here to see a cute puppy. P. There you go. So, and now we'll put some more HTML in there. So, if we preview this email message and we click on this URL that we just added, it should take us to this web page. So folks, this is how it starts to come together. You can create your email message, you can create your web pages, you can use your web pages inside of your emails, you know, as a call to action, if that was the purpose of this email. All right. So let me give you some additional information on Cloud Pages. So let's make sure we don't miss any key information. So you can build landing pages, microsites. You can also build mobile push pages. So if we come back here into our folder, excuse me. So see here, you have different things you can create. So a landing page is what I just demonstrated to you. A code resource. Now this is, in simple terms, you could build a web page that can be used as a code resource. This is straying into the very developer technical side of things. But some folks who are very technically savvy, they might build web pages and build some content using HTML and JavaScript and CSS, and they want to get something to load. What they do is they use this code resource bit. I'm not a developer, so I'm not going to drag you into the deep waters of code development when it comes to Marketing Cloud. But just so you know, there are some very, very interesting use cases for stuff like this. Not really my domain, so I'm not going to bother you with that. A microsite, on the other hand, is essentially a collection of web pages. Okay, so you know what a website is. Okay, blackforce.ca, this is a website. All right, it's a website with different pages. So this is a page, this is a page, this is another page. A microsite is similar to a website. It's just on a smaller scale, right? So if an organization wanted to build, let's say, a marketing team at RBC, once again, the marketing team at RBC wanted to build just a small website with like 3 to 4 pages. We'll call it a macrosite. They can do that using Marketing Cloud. All right. But before a functionality like this, what such teams needed to do will be they'll need to reach out to the IT department at RBC and say, hey, look, we're running this campaign or we're running this initiative where we want to build 3 to 4 web pages. And this is how we want it to look. This is when we want it done. This is the content we want to put on that website. The RBC IT team might take weeks or months to create that microsite for this marketing team. But thanks to this feature, the marketing team at RBC doesn't need to rely on the IT team anymore. They can create a microsite themselves because thanks to Marketing Cloud, they have that capability now. So if you wanted to create some microsite, let's call it the September 25th sample microsite. We'll use this again, microsite. You just need to give it a name. Call it that. So you see here, you can just add multiple web pages. So we'll call this page 1. Yeah, page 1, sure. Save that. So that's page 1. Let's say we want another page. We'll call this page 2. We'll say that's page 2. We'll go yes, yes, save. So you're starting to get the picture now, aren't you? Say we want 3 pages. We'll call this page 3. And we'll go next, next, save. So now this is a microsite. It's a collection of landing pages. So see here, this is the URL for our microsite. But if you go to each landing page, they'll have this name /1/2/3. So let me quickly show that to you. So see here. Let's go into it. Let's just put HTML. Let's quickly grab something just for illustration purposes. We'll put that in here. Let's save. Then let's go take a look at page properties. So if I copy the URL, I'm going to close these. I'll put the URL here. So see here, the URL says blackforce.ca/microsite/1. That's page 1 of our microsite. The same thing is what you expect to see here. This will be page 2, this will be page 3. It's a collection of web pages. That's what a microsite is. So you can create microsites if you need to inside of Cloud Pages. All right. Okay. Okay, so folks, thanks for confirming that that web page works. If it did not work for anybody, please let me know. So that covers microsite. So I think I've emphasized it enough. It's just a collection of landing pages, right? So a use case might be, let's say, for example, Petro Canada. They're running a promotion that's going to last for only 3 months. If you fill up your tank at Petro Canada from September to November, you can get a chance to win, let's say, $5,000. All right, they're running this initiative for 3 months. They need some website to send people to get more information about this promotion that they're running, this contest that they're running, right? So they can use a microsite for that purpose. They create the microsite, they publish it, people can go there, get the information they need, or provide their information on that microsite for the contest. And at the end of that 3-month period, the marketing team at Petro Canada can simply unpublish the microsite, and that's the end of it, right? So it just gives marketing teams flexibility to manage the different assets that they use for their jobs. That's essentially the goal of Marketing Cloud as a whole. It gives people, predominantly marketing teams, it gives them access to tools they can use to run their different initiatives. They can use to manage the communication channels they use with customers, can use it to manage their data. They can use it to solve whatever marketing problems they have. All right? So that's what you could do with microsites. So you see here, inside this folder, this September 25th folder, that's where all of my content is getting saved. So here's my microsite. Here are my landing pages. So you see the icon for each of them is slightly different. So you see the icon for the microsite is like a hierarchy, while the one for landing page is just a page. So let's talk about a mobile push page. This here it's mainly for accounts where you've activated Mobile Studio, all right? But a mobile push page, think of it like a landing page, but it's tied to a mobile app. So the example I'll use here will be, say, the RBC app. Yes, the online banking app. You log into it. Let's say they display an ad to you, say, hey, you have recently qualified for this new credit card. If you click here, you can apply or get access to this card. When you click on that link from the mobile application, the RBC mobile banking application, it could lead you to a mobile push page. All right? That's what a mobile push page is. But here, I can show it to you, but let's see if it'll work. Even though we don't have Mobile Studio activated. Mobile push page, let's see. It's not what I want. So let's go back a step. Where is it? Can we change this? No, we have to redo it. So let's go delete. Oh, by the way, these icons, let me quickly explain what they do. The delete, you know what delete does. The other one, this is simply to make a copy of whatever you're hovering on. And the gear icon, that's to just see the settings. So let's get rid of that. Let's try again, see if I'm able to make a change to the URL. So we go mobile push page. I don't think I have the option to change that URL. Yeah, so you see here, the URL, what we get is the default URL, this long string of random characters. I think because we don't have Mobile Studio activated, we're unable to use the blackforce.ca as our URL. I think that's why we're seeing the default one, okay? But as you can see, the mobile push page is essentially the same thing as your regular landing page. You can add content to it. So let's say we add this guy, we add this image, we save, and we schedule and publish. Let's see if it'll work. Publish. Okay, so we'll click on the URL. My puppy image is not showing yet. The URL works, but for some reason I don't see my puppy showing up. Anyways, we won't dwell on it. It's a landing page specifically for mobile push use cases. All right. Now, the final thing you can create inside of Cloud Pages is an interactive email page. So what this lets you do, now some of you may have come across something like this. So you know how some brands might send you an email and you're viewing that email on your device, you're able to fill out a form or provide some responses and submit a response inside the body of an email. And that response gets pushed back to the sender. That's what this interactive email page allows you to do. So a typical use case for something like this will be, let's say you go on vacation, you go to Cancun, and you come back from your vacation, you loved it, you wish you could live there permanently and just work from there. You get an email from the resort saying, hey, thank you for spending some days with us. How did you find your stay? And in the body of their email is this survey, this form, and you can click on the email. You click it inside of the email, but you're not leaving that email page, and you provide a response to that survey that they've given you. That is something that's doable using this feature, right? The interactive email page. Okay, so this gives you guys an idea of some of the kinds of things you can do. Now, this is not an exhaustive list. This just gives you an idea of some of the kinds of things you can do when it comes to Cloud Pages. Another example, just to brag a bit more about Marketing Cloud. Another example of something you can do using a landing page inside of Marketing Cloud is you can create a custom preference center. Now, let's refresh your memories. By default, so let's go to Email Studio. By default, you get a standard preference center. And that's what this page here is. This is your standard preference center that comes out of the box with every Marketing Cloud account, all right? But there are companies that get this and they say, you know what, I don't want this out of the box, ugly, old looking preference center. I want something customized. I want something that will look much better and that will look more like my website, that's more in line with my brand. I don't want this basic page. So using Cloud Pages, you could build a custom preference center for an organization. And you build a page that's, well, not this one. Let's go with this. You build a page that's in line with their brand. You use all their text, you use their images, you use their colors, you do everything so that it looks just like their website or an extension of their website rather than looking like this. All right. And then you can do all of that using HTML and AMP Okay. So there's a wide variety of things you can do using Cloud Pages. So let me see, are there any questions? Okay, I'm going to demonstrate something else to you guys. But I see that my laptop is not plugged. So Idrima, I'm going to plug my laptop, but you can come up mute in the meantime.
Okay, I was just curious, this freeform blocks.
Yes. What about them?
Yeah, is it like a form?
Freeform, let's grab that. So let's place it right here. Which one is it? Not sure where I dropped it. I'm going to drop it right beneath the dog. Okay, so here's our freeform. Freeform can just be text or images. As the name indicates, it's freeform. So see how I just put some random text in there? I can also bring in an image. Let's go grab another image. Let's grab Fluffy. So freeform doesn't limit you to one kind of content. That's the idea. So.
Okay, I was thinking it was like a form you feel like a survey. So given the example you gave for the interactive page, I was wondering if you put a free form on the landing page, what's the difference?
A use case for free form will be similar to a use case for HTML images. So I think what will be more interesting for you will be this next thing I'm going to show you. So let's quickly save this. Yes, so I was going to show you a use case where you build a landing page and the data from that landing page can get pushed into a data extension, right? So let's go through that example. So I have this folder under my 2023 folder. I'm going to create a new data extension, right? Just to refresh you guys' memory, this is how we create a data extension. Let's call it the September 25th data extension. Say yes, and we'll go next. Let's put a few fields in here. First name, we know this is going to be text. We'll say it's nullable. Now, just a reminder, nullable means we can save the data even if this field is blank, right? There doesn't need to be any data in this field for a submission to get saved. But if you leave it unchecked, it means if someone fills out the form, we'll need to provide whatever that field that you haven't checked off as nullable is. So in this case, if someone's filling out a form and they don't provide their last name, it won't save because this is not nullable. All right, but I want it to be nullable. So email address. Let's go select the right data type, which is email address. And we'll say yes, we want as primary key. And then phone number. And this is going to be, yeah, text is fine. Okay, we'll select email as our subscriber key and we'll say create. Okay, so that's our data extension. So folks, what I'm going to do here, we'll come back to that. What I'm going to do here is connect this data extension to a web page that I'm going to create to capture data. All right, so we've got our data extension. It's called the September 25th DE. Now let's go create a new landing page, and we'll call it the form. Let's call it that, landing page. And we'll use the form. And we'll go next. We can go, now by default, it gives you the blank template, but you can select whatever form or template or layout that you want and save. So what we're going to build here is a landing page that's going to be used to collect information that will be pushed into this data extension. All right. And to build that, there is this content block called Smart Capture. All right. When you grab the Smart Capture block and you pull it to the middle of your screen, it gives you the option to tie your web page to a data extension. That's what we're going to do. So see here, now let's start from the top. If you want, now this is a bit, we're going to talk about Journey Builder further down the line, but what this checkbox allows you to do is use the data that gets captured here to send people into a journey. It may not make sense now, but we'll talk about Journey Builder further down the line. But for today's purposes, stick with me. We're going to call this the basic information form. So now we have to associate this with a data extension. So by default, it selects the Cloud Pages data extension. But what we want to use is this data extension called September 25th that we've created. So let's go select our data extension. The good thing is we know what folder we saved this in. So it's saved in 2023 Cloud Pages. So that's our location. All right, so let's go select that location. So it's data extensions 2023 Cloud Pages, and then September 25th DE. Okay, so you'll see what gets displayed here are the fields that we've created for our data extension. See, we created these 4 fields. Now we're able to select those 4 fields for this landing page that we're creating. So we'll go ahead and check those boxes. What we're essentially saying is, I want to collect information for these 4 fields. All right. Now, let's see, what else do we need to do here? So we'll say we're done editing. And now this creates a form that we can use to capture information on this web page into this data extension. All right, let's go ahead and save. And then we'll publish it. All right. Okay, so folks, I'm going to put this link in the chat. What I'll need you to do is fill out this form. It's up to you. You can use fictional data. You could put your real names and phone numbers. That's up to you. The goal is we want to see this form in action. What we want to see is you load this page, fill out the form, put this info in there, and click on submit. And we want to see your data show up in this data extension. All right, so let's go through this exercise. You could fill out dummy data, just put something in there. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to put Okay. And we'll say it's click phone number. And now click on submit and see there, I filled out the form, I clicked on submit, and what we expect to see is this number change from 0 to, oh, you guys are quick in it. Look at that. So lots of information has been added into this form or into this data extension. So where is James? This is the one I filled out right here. And the other ones are the ones you guys filled out. So thank you for that. But you see how we're starting to bring the different components of the platform together. We're bringing your data extensions, which you use for data collection and manipulation. We're bringing it together with your cloud page or landing page. All right. So let's go through questions, starting with Robert. Yes, Robert.
Hi, yeah. So what would be the benefit of you using the landing page this way that goes directly into Marketing Cloud, besides pushing it into Sales Cloud first, and then Sales Cloud pushing it into Marketing Cloud? I'm just trying to figure out where this would benefit myself personally.
Okay. So, folks, let's just be clear on one thing. There are companies out there that have Marketing Cloud and they do not have Sales Cloud. So there are companies that use Marketing Cloud by itself and it works just fine. All right? There are lots of them like that. And there are also companies that have Marketing Cloud and Sales Cloud or Service Cloud. And they use the two integrated. Okay? So let me give an example of where both scenarios exist. So for a company that doesn't have Sales Cloud, that only has Marketing Cloud, they create a web form. Let's say they use it to capture leads. People show up on their website and say, you know what, I want more information about this product. Please have somebody give me a call. They put their phone number, they put all these details, they click on submit. The data gets captured. And then, let's say the company's process is whenever, maybe once a day, whenever someone submits a form, they export it and provide it to their sales team or their customer service team. That's one very simple use case, all right? And that's a use case where a company has Marketing Cloud, but they don't have Sales Cloud, all right? Another use case for a company that has Marketing Cloud as a standalone product is someone fills out the form, they click on submit. As soon as they arrive in this data extension, we have an automation that's going to pick up that person's record and then send them an email. All right? As soon as you click on submit, you get pushed into the data extension, and then you get picked up and sent an email automatically. That's another use case. So the email could be just a canned email response saying, hey, thank you for filling out this form. Somebody on our sales team is going to reach out to you within the next 24 to 48 hours. That's a simple use case. Another use case for company that has Marketing Cloud but doesn't have Sales Cloud is they collect leads or they collect potential customers using this form. They get captured into the data extension and then they nurture them. They send them a series of emails. Hey, here's the new update about our next event or our next product release. And they continue to send them these emails until they get the signal that this person is ready to make a purchase. That's another use case. Now let's talk about a use case for a company that has Marketing Cloud and Sales Cloud. So company has the CRM and also has Marketing Cloud integrated to the CRM. In such a scenario, an organization like that has the option of capturing prospects using Cloud Pages on their website, or capturing prospects using Web to Lead via the CRM, right? So which one should they use? It really depends on the process, the sales process, or the operational processes of this organization. If they use Web to Lead, someone fills out a page, they get captured as a lead in their CRM. They can nurture that lead, they can get them through their process until they've qualified that person as ready to buy, and then the person makes a purchase, and they can convert that lead to a contact. All right? They have that option, using Web to Lead to capture the information. They also have the option of using Cloud Pages to capture the records into a data extension, nurture them, and when they get qualified as ready to purchase, they can push this person into the CRM and get them created as a contact. Because you'll be surprised to find out that there are some organizations out there that have both products, the CRM and Marketing Cloud, but they don't use leads. They do all of their pre-qualification in Marketing Cloud. So they capture people from a web form into a data extension. They send them a bunch of emails, and if they're happy with the responses they're getting, they can convert them. They can get them pushed from Marketing Cloud into the CRM and created as a contact. So they don't have to use the leads object. So it really depends on the organization. All right, very long answer, but the use cases will depend on the organization. But what you should keep in mind is Marketing Cloud can be used as a standalone product, and it is just much more seamless and a better experience when it's integrated with the CRM, right? But it functions excellently as a standalone product, and it also functions excellently when integrated with the CRM. All right? Any follow-up questions to that or to any of those use case scenarios? Okay, so folks, aside from asking questions, you can also share how your organizations where you work, how you guys use these tools, because I imagine there are some of you who work in companies where one or the other of these tools get used. So feel free to share your use case just for the benefit of your colleagues in this class. All right? Now let's make sure we are hitting all the right spots. Okay, this just gives you screenshots and explanations on the different things you can do. So folks, as I've mentioned in the past, the slides are simply a guideline. To make sure I'm covering all the important stuff. Yeah, we've seen that. So you'll notice in some of these images, there's a lot of HTML. So I think it goes without saying, for you to effectively use Cloud Pages, you need to have some knowledge of HTML. So, because that's the primary language that these web pages run on. And it's not just Cloud Pages. Any website For example, this website, the Black Force. No, let's go to the Black Force website. This website, most websites run on HTML. So if we go into it, see here, this is the Black Force website. All of this stuff you see here on the side, this is all HTML and CSS. All right? That's what makes all these things work. Any company website, let's go to RBC. I keep picking on them. See here, this is the RBC website. It's running on HTML and CSS. So every website out there has some component of HTML and CSS. That's the way the web works, right? So let's go back and make sure we're covering all the good stuff. So I've shown you those bits. This is just on microsites. This just talks about mobile push, and then code resource. For you developers out there, you'll find the code resource useful. It's mainly for JavaScript and such. So, okay, let's talk about some of the analytics on your cloud pages. So you're able to create these web pages. Okay, before I continue, let's see, we have questions. What is the difference between HTML and AppScript? Can you show us some use case for AppScript? Oh boy. HTML is used for, it's used for emails, it's used for websites. AppScript is predominantly used for, you know what, rather than, let's show you examples of AppScript use cases. Let's see. Let's go to AppScript.com. This is a good resource for those of you who are leaning towards the developer side of things. This website gives you everything you need to know about AppScript. So let's show you a few functions that you can achieve using AppScript. So if we talk about, let's see, there's a whole host of things you can use AppScript for. So here's one example. This one's a bit complicated, but I'll keep it simple. Let's say, no, you know what? This is going to confuse you guys. Let's find something simple. Yeah, this is a bit detailed actually. You know what? I'll keep it simple. Let's go back to, anyways, you have access to this website. You can look it up in your own time. But for the sake of simplicity, let's go into Content Builder. I'll just show you some simple AppScript use cases. So let's go to my folder. I'm going to create a copy of my HTML email. So let's duplicate that. Message v2. Okay. So right here, you can see in this sentence, we've put the first name, but we know the first name data will be in a data extension, right? Let's say we have a list of people we want to send an email to. We have the email addresses, we have their first names. And we want the first name pulled into the body of the email. For that to happen, you have to use this symbols, which represent AppScript inside of Marketing Cloud. The $% is the command, the AppScript command you use to pull first name into the body of an email. So let's go preview this email. So see this data extension. So I'm trying to keep this very simple for you guys. Let's go, where's the, let's use the new data extension we created today. So see these guys, if we want to send an email to these people in this data extension, and we want to pull their first name into the body of the email, we can do that using AmScript, right? So if we go back, you see here, it shows %, first name, %. That's the command. That's you telling the system, go find me the first name column for each record I want you to send this email to, and then bring back the value in that column and display it here in this email. Same thing here at the bottom. Using AmScript, we're saying, go find me this organization's name, which is Manifest & Co. In addition, find me their address, their city, their state. This here is a use case of AmScript, all right? AmScript functions inside of HTML. So HTML is the programming language that's used to create this whole email, all right? So these are all HTML commands. This is a HTML command to display a URL. That's this URL. It's also the command to have the URL work and to have the text underlined to indicate that there's a URL here that's clickable. So that's a use case of HTML. The whole HTML or the whole email is based on HTML. All emails are based on HTML. All right? HTML is also used for web pages, such as this one. Okay? So that is a very simple explanation of HTML and AmScript. So I'll repeat it one more time. AmScript is used inside of HTML. It's used predominantly for personalization, for importing or extracting data, amongst other things. But you can learn more about AmScript and some of the complicated use cases that exist that one can use AmScript for. An example, as I mentioned earlier, is let's say we wanted to build a custom preference center. We don't want to use this one. We can build a web page that looks much better than this one using HTML. And we can also use AmScript on that web page. And using AmScript, we can push data so data that gets submitted, we can have it pushed into a data extension, or we can also have that data pushed into another platform, such as Sales Cloud. All right? It really depends on what you're trying to achieve. That's what determines what programming language you'd use. All right? Just so I don't drag you guys into the deep waters of the development end of things, I'll stop there for now. So now let's go take a look at some other questions. Yeah, Robert already answered this question. Is there a second question? So, folks, I'm going to come back to this question, but to further emphasize, you should all have received the PDF document that I provided that gives you the list of all Salesforce Marketing Cloud trails that you can explore. On that list, there's a section for AmpScript related content. So let me go show that to you again. I mistakenly put it in this group, which was for the last cohort. But anyways, you should have access to the document. This is what it looks like. So if we scroll down, there's a section for, okay, code with AmpScript. So this here is a trail that goes in depth on things you could do and the different programming languages inside of Marketing Cloud. Then another trail you can explore is this one, AmpScript Solutions. So this tells you about some of the things you can do using AmpScript. All right, as I mentioned, it's predominantly used for personalization and pulling data into different places. Okay, so please make sure you're taking advantage of this PDF. If you don't have access to it, please reach out to the Black Force folks. They should have made it available to you. Now, let's go back to the other question that came up. For organizations not using the Salesforce CRM, how is storage captured in SFMC? We know in CRM it's more or less based on licenses. I don't think I understand this question. How is storage captured in SFMC? What do you mean by storage?
So, good evening, Abby.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so all I'm saying is that I can understand that they can have different data sources, and those data could either be stored outside of Marketing Cloud. But say, for example, that data extension that you were populating from the form, I'm assuming that data is being stored in SFMC. So I'm just like saying, how would I know when, I'm beginning to have issues for data within SFMC? How am I able to know how much of storage I have, how much is remaining, that kind of stuff?
Your storage limit.
Correct. Thank you.
Okay. So how can we tell what your storage limit is? You know what?
May I answer that one?
Find out. Yeah. Who was that?
Robert.
Okay. Yeah. I'm not sure. So Robert, I'll let you speak in a second.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what the storage limit is, but please go ahead, Robert.
I was struggling with that circumstance for the last year and a half, and I came across an answer. Apparently, you can ask your accounts receivable person for Marketing Cloud to provide you an account summary. And they will give you an account summary that will give you those details. And they'll send it on, I believe, a monthly basis. And it will tell you how close you are to your maximum, which is wonderful.
Storage limit.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
That's not business friendly, right? I mean,
I don't understand why they don't just do it by default, but you have to ask for it.
Okay, good to know. But,
it's called an account summary.
Okay. So if something blows up before you get the next one, what do you do?
They'll tell you. If you go over, believe me, they will.
So I'm sure there would be like even some grace of you going over, and then they inform you, and then you do the needful, right? They're not just going to. Okay, that sounds good.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
I had connected my Sales Cloud to my Marketing Cloud, everything. And I didn't realize that every single record was being pushed into Marketing Cloud. And I went 250,000 over my max. And so they gave me a grace.
So that's what I'm saying. So it's a bit of a reactive maintenance rather than proactive, right?
That's correct.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I am just learning about that today. Thank you, Robert. So, but in most cases, or with the clients I've seen, let me put it this way. Most of them, even if they have Marketing Cloud as a standalone product, they don't store all of their data inside of Marketing Cloud. They usually have some other storage mechanism or platform that they use. So I guess that's why I haven't come across a client that exceeded their limit, and I had to help them figure out. But anyways, now I know. Good to know. Good to know. Let's make sure. Yes, I was going to show you a bit of analytics. So you're able to create your web pages, your landing pages, your microsites, whatever it is you create. Once you've published it and it's being used, like this one, you can get reporting on it. So this is the one, this is the form landing page that we used. You could get reporting on it. So to get an idea of how many, the traffic you get into that landing page, you simply go to the activity section and you can get a quick report. So if we, let's do a quick report just to see how much we can see. Let's say from the 22nd to date. This is not showing me much. Ideally, it should tell you more than what I'm seeing here. Ideally, it will tell you how many clicks, on what day, that sort of thing. But right now, it's not showing me much. But anyways, this is where you go to get insight on how your web page is performing. Let's see if there's anything. And then on this section, this is where you can make your landing page searchable by search engines, or crawlable or viewable by search engines. So what I mean by that is, let's say we created this page. So we have created this page, but if you go on Google and you search for Black Force, not the website. If we just do a Google search for Black Force, the results that come up will be the Black Force website, some other URLs. But because we have not made this page searchable or visible to search engines such as Google, this URL will not show up in our search results, right? So if we keep scrolling, the likelihood of us seeing this URL is low or almost impossible, because here in our settings, we haven't checked off. Actually, I'm going to reverse 30 seconds. By leaving these unchecked, we're letting search engines find our URL. But if we check these boxes, then that's when the search engine won't be able to see these web pages in our search results. All right? So just to make sure I did not confuse you, if you leave these settings unchecked, your web page will eventually be visible in a search result. All right? But if you check those boxes, you are not allowing search engines to view it. So why does this matter is probably what you're thinking. If let's say Black Force was creating this URL just for internal purposes, for existing students or alumni, they don't want this to be publicly visible to non-students or non-alumni. They'd want to have these boxes checked off, right? Because you don't want some of this information visible to non-internal people. Another use case could be, let's say, Sunlight Financial, the insurance company. They created a bunch of web pages for their insurance advisors. These are people that sell their products, their insurance products. And the information on these web pages is for internal consumption only. They don't want it to be available to the public. What they'll need to do is make sure these checkboxes are checked off. And that way, you're ensuring that these web pages or these landing pages are not publicly visible to Google or Bing or any other search engine. All right? So you want to know where to locate the setup for the domain, referring to cloud.blackforce for the web pages. So that is when you're, now just to make sure I understand your question, that is when you're creating the web form. So if you wanted to edit this URL, this is where we've come. But
you showed us in the setup where that is located, where that initially gets set up, right?
Yes, so that's under your account setup. So here, company settings, account settings. It's a part of the SAP. So we talked about the SAP yesterday. One key component is the private domain. This is the private domain. So this bit gets set up at the ground level when a new account is being created. Okay? That's when this gets set up. So let's say, for example, this account exists, but Blackforce comes up with a new product or service offering. Let's say, for example, they have a new course on DevOps, yeah? And they want to have a specific domain for DevOps. Let's say they wanted to have devops.blackforce.ca, all right? They wanted this private domain. What we'll do is we'll reach out to Salesforce, the company, and we'll tell them, hey, we want to add this private domain that we own. We want to add it to our Marketing Cloud account. And then we'll send this to them, this private domain name, and then they'll make it available here. So it'll be underneath this one. And once they've done that setup and behind the scenes, we'll be able to use that new private domain. So let's say we're going to create a landing page for the DevOps products. Yes, we'll be able to see it here. So we'll be able to see cloud.devops.theblackforce.ca. We'll be able to see that additional private domain. Make sense?
That's perfect. I did not know that you could do that. Thank you.
Yeah, so you can have more than one. So an example of a company that has more than one private domain will be, there's a bunch of them out there. So a company like Unilever or Nestle or Cadbury or Dove, or P&G. P&G is a great example. This is a company that has several brands underneath the company. So they have several brands, and all these brands have unique customers. So let's P&G brands. So here's an example. So see here, P&G is the company that owns Pampers, that owns this brand, this brand, this brand. All these brands, they have their own products, they have their own messaging, they have their own websites. But P&G can have private domains for each of these brands. So there could be dove.com, crest.com. You get the gist. And they can send emails to these different customers using these different private domains. So that's a use case. And that's something that Marketing Cloud allows large organizations to, and also small organizations. That's the beauty of having a platform like this. It gives you that flexibility. How can we access the class note? Femi, please come off mute. I'm not sure what class note you're referring to.
Hello, sorry. I mean, what I meant is the presentation that you are always presenting for.
This.
Yeah. We don't have.
Yeah, this should have been made available to you guys. All the slide decks for all the classes we're going to talk about, they should have been made available to you guys.
I don't know. I've not seen it.
Okay, that is news to me. So.
I'm sorry, Abby. All the class notes are on the Slack channel. You have to go to the Slack channel to access them. All the documents are there.
Okay. All right, you know where to go now. And is the PDF with all the trails, is that also in the same Slack channel?
Yes, it is.
Okay, good. Thank you. All right, so that's that. Let's see, what else do we need to talk about here? So this is what the reporting should look like for Cloud Pages. For some reason, it wasn't showing up when I was trying to see it, but in general, you should be able to see results under the activity section. Perhaps it's just taking time to load. All right. Yeah, all this we talked about. Yeah, so here is a use case for using AmpScript on your HTML form, on your landing page. So in this use case, it's a bit detailed, but what's happening here is we're using AmpScript and HTML to check to see, before somebody submits a form, can we check to see, does their data already exist in the system? If it does, go update their data. If it doesn't, create a new record. That's what you can achieve using AmpScript inside of your HTML on a landing page. So that's a bit more detailed, a bit more complex, but that's a potential use case for AmpScript inside of an HTML form or landing page. All right. So this just gives you a few more screenshots of where this has been used. And using AmpScript, you can also put additional logic. So if then sort of statements to determine what kind of data or how you capture data. So that's what that is. Let's see. Okay, that's just, all right. Any questions for me, folks, on Cloud Pages, how they relate to the rest of Marketing Cloud, how to create them, how to create your own collection? So just a quick recap. A collection is a folder. So this is the folder I created earlier today. And inside this folder is everything else, all the landing pages or microsites that I've created. So when you go into the Cloud Pages, please make sure you create your own collection and give it a name. As you see here, most people kept the naming convention they used for their data extensions folder. So let's quickly show that to you. So you see how we have a naming convention here, and people use 2023 underscore their name. They did the same thing here. And it just makes for keeping things organized. It makes it easier for you to find your content. All right. And folks, please, this applies to everything, not just Cloud Pages or data extensions. When you go into the account, don't delete someone else's folder. All right. Don't come here and delete my 2023 folder. All right. That's why we're suggesting you go in, create your own folder. If you want to delete your own folder, you're welcome to do that. But don't delete someone else's folders or data extensions, create yours and delete yours, right? I think that covers it for Cloud Pages. And then one of the tasks that you'll be doing in your final project will be on Cloud Pages. It'll be on what we went through today. Create a Cloud page, associate it with a data extension, and make sure it works, make sure the data can be submitted and pushed into a data extension, just like you saw today, right? So the final project is just going to be asking you to do things we cover in class. There will be nothing we haven't covered that will be requested of you. All right. So any final questions for today before we log off? Okay. We will leave it there. In the absence of questions.
Sorry, Abby.
Oh, yes, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. I was just wanting to suggest that in the data extension folder, that
yes,
we are supposed to create our folders in the 2023 folder, right? That's the expectation. If you don't mind, if you can share your screen again.
Okay.
Right. That's the expectation, right?
So
I'm thinking, yeah. So should it be in that 2023 folder? Because the way I'm looking at it, they all seem to be inside the data extension folder.
Yeah, so this is the main folder. This is the root folder. Everything
Correct.
Sits from here.
Yeah.
So the folders you create should be from here, not from this one. This one.
Yeah, that seems to be yours.
Yeah, this one has all the stuff I've created.
So
when you're creating your own folder, start from here. Click on data.
Yeah, because what I'm thinking is that for somebody like me, sorry, just give me a second. For somebody like me, I already have a folder inside that. Sorry, I'm trying to stop something. So you see my name Mboyo there, right?
Here.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying, that a few folks might already have that as well.
Okay.
Right? So that's what I'm thinking. I want to suggest that should we create a Quad 6 folder in here, and then we just know that every one of us are going to, or else for someone like me, honestly, I wouldn't just even create a new folder. I already have a folder anyway.
Okay.
So, but I'm just saying for purpose of clarity, do you want to create a Quad 6 folder in there?
Let's just do it now. How about that? Cohort
that would be great.
6. Okay, so if we, you know what, let's go to data extensions. When you get here, look for the cohort 6 folder. All right. And then underneath this one, create your own new folder. So I'm going to move this one
that's
to
fine.
cohort 6.
Thank you.
All right, so this is how we move a folder. Select it, we find our destination, and then we say, okay. All right, so if you come here, actually, I moved the data extension, not the folder. Yeah, I have to redo that. Okay, let's show that to you again. I moved the data extension out of folder, so I'm moving it back. To move the folder, you have to right click on it and then go move. And this is where it's going. Okay, so now you see under cohort 6 is Boyo's folder. So folks, please create your folders underneath cohort 6. All right, so it's all in one place. Thank you for your suggestion, sir.
Thank you very much, Abby.
All right. Any final questions, or it's clear as mud? All right. Folks, have a good evening and we'll talk tomorrow.